Both Steves. Good morning, both Steves. Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, the 17th of Adar. Time to get ready for Pesach. In today's lesson, we are on page 54 in the Chayenu, another beautiful lesson. And yesterday we talked about how we need the fuel for the godly flame which rests upon our head. The body's the wick, and the midos tovis, the good deeds that a person does, is the flame, is the fuel for the fire. The meaning of this analogy, comparing the light of the Shekhinah to the light of a candle, is clear to every intelligent person. The Alter Rebbe will conclude shortly, after a closer examination of the details of the story, and he says as follows. Just as it is true of the candle's flame, a flame does not shed light, nor does it retain the flame to the wick without oil. So too, the Shekhinah, the light of Hashem, does not rest upon man, which is compared to a wick, except through man's performance of good deeds. So the body can only act as a wick, not as oil. We need oil. And what's that fuel? Good deeds. We have to constantly be looking around for how we can do something positive in this world to fuel that fire. It seems from the Zohar that it's not enough that just because your soul is a part of Hashem, then you have fuel for the flame. You have to do your part. You have to do service. You have to do mitzvahs every day. And it's clear and understandable to every intelligent person that that the soul, even for the soul of man, even if it's a perfect tzaddik who serves Hashem with fear and with pleasurable love, meaning his love consists of delighting in the experience of Hashem, a most lofty form of love. What does he enjoy most? Learning Torah, davening, doing whatever Hashem asks of him. Nevertheless, the love is not utterly nullified out of existence, so that it may be dissolved into absorbed within the light of Hashem to be merged with perfect unity. The love is still his love, meaning that of the tzaddik. It's a separate entity which fears God and loves God. It's not yet absorbed into godliness, as oil is absorbed within a flame. The soul cannot serve as oil for the light of the Shekhinah. What's the difference when you get your shirt wet with a little water? It dries up, it's fine, it's gone after a little while. But when oil goes in, done, right? So it's a separate entity. We need to turn it into fuel for the fire. When it comes to the mitzvahs and the good deeds, here we're not talking about just the love and the pleasure or the fear. We're talking about the good deeds, which are Hashem's will. Each commandment represents Hashem's desire of that particular act that's being performed. And Hashem's will is the source of life for all because, now God's will is the source of life for all the worlds and the creatures. They live only because Hashem desires so. God contracts his infinite light and brings it all the way down to this world in a way that it's so hidden in order for even the smallest creature to be able to exist. Until we see something from nothing, to the point that we feel like we're our own separate existence. And we don't feel completely nullified to Hashem. Hashem wants us to feel this way in order for us to have free choice, to be able to choose good over evil, mitzvahs over the opposite. When it comes to mitzvahs, they are the internal aspect of Hashem's will. There, the countenance is not hidden at all. When it comes to mitzvahs, that's the revelation of God's light. On the contrary, the mitzvahs are the underlying purpose, the inner aspect of Hashem's will. By way of example, bottom of page 56 here. One engages in business so that he will realize a profit and support his family. That's what he wants to do. All he wants is to support his family. But in the end, what happens is he starts worrying about the business and he wants to profit. And of course, in the end, he wants to provide for his family. What's his inner will, inner desire? Just to support his family. But when he gets all involved in the business, it seems that the focus is making sure that the business is successful. Is that the true desire? No, it's to support his family. In essence, he shouldn't really care whether the business is successful or not. But in order to support his family, he has to worry about the external aspect of what he's trying to do. So too, and the inner aspect, the inner will, is to support his family. So too with the divine will, as expressed in creation and as expressed in mitzvahs. The desire for creation is the external will of Hashem. It's generated by the inner will, the ultimate desire that Jews observe the mitzvahs. Obviously an impossibility without the created world. So the created world is like the business and going to work every day and working hard and hiring and firing and running around and selling and buying and doing all the commerce, doing all the paperwork and the nitty-gritty that you have to do. Is that what you really want to be doing? No, you want to be with your family, but that's a necessary thing in order to be able to support your family. So Hashem had to create the world with all of the intricate details, and everything from every detail of the world, the world that we live in, the cars and the planes and the buildings and the trees and the mountains and the animals and the bugs and the sea and the land and everything, in order for a yid to do a mitzvah. When it comes to the mitzvahs, there's no concealment of Hashem's light and inner will. The godly life force within them is by no means a separate entity. Rather, the mitzvahs are united and contained within Hashem's will, and the mitzvahs are truly joined in perfect unity with God's will. So then it's clear why, in the above mentioned metaphor about business, the mitzvahs can serve as oil for the light of the Shekhinah. They are the ones absorbed within and transformed into light of divine will. They're the whole point, just as oil is absorbed within a flame. The Alter Rebbe will arrive at this conclusion after a preliminary discussion on what the Zohar means, when it says that the light of the Shekhinah rests on man. And that will be tomorrow. We'll continue that theme. The takeaway for today is your body is a wick and your soul is the flame. And how does it get fueled? By action-based mitzvahs, taking that coin and putting it into the pushka. Don't take it lightly anymore. And putting on the tefillin and lighting the Shabbos candles and saying a blessing, eating, kosher food. They may appear merely physical and ungodly, but how is this coin? It's gone through so many hands. What is it representing? But yet, it's a true expression of Hashem's inner will. Think that thought right before you give tzedakah next time, or whatever it is, the physical mitzvah that you do, and you'll be able to fuel that flame of fire and bring the Shekhinah down onto yourself and onto your family and onto the entire world. Have a good day, folks. We'll see you next time.